Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My dear students, we have started the biology book for grade 9th, and I told you that class 9th and pre-9th students, they can get very valuable explanation. Remember one thing, that when we listen carefully, when we attend lectures very carefully in classroom, very attentively, then only we can write an examination. Few students, they go with certification. Few, they are parrots, they learn like parrots. But remember, when you forget, then everything finishes. So therefore, understanding is very important. So today we will carry on chapter number 1, and we have done the definition, we have done branches, and we have covered the area carriers in biology, relation with other subjects, the relation of biology with other subjects. So we have covered these topics. Today we are going to cover 2 topics, that is Quran and biology and Muslim scientists. So remember one thing, my dear students, that when we say Quran and biology, and then it is very important to understand, basically nowadays majority of non-Muslims, the foreigners, the scientists, they are working on this thing, and they have proved that what Quran has said at the arrival of Quran, all those things, at that time science was not there, but all those things are proving nowadays. So Quran tells us, in your book, the topic Quran and biology tells us 3 things: origin of living organisms, then development, how they developed, and characteristic of living organisms. All these 3 things has been explained to you in this topic, Quran and biology. So when you read that topic, you will find that there are few surahs given over here, the ayats. So first surah, in Surah Anbiya, that was verse 30, Allah Pak has said that I have created all living organism with water. When it says that all living organism with water, then science proves that composition of protoplasm, living organism means protoplasm is there, 60 to 70% of protoplasm is water. So in Surah Anbiya, verse 30, Allah has created all living beings, living things with water. So 60 to 70% of living organism is protoplasm. Then in Surah Rahman, verse number 14, it says, from clay like potter. Like we make pottery with clay, so also used clay. जैसे हम कहते हैं मट्टी से बना है, तो clay and water, this is the origin of a living organism, of all living things. Then Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse number 14, Allah is telling us, the Quran is telling us about the development. First, inside the body, a clot appears. Then clot changes into a lump, a little lump. Then from that lump, bones are created. And on bones, Allah has given us flesh. And then a beautiful human body, beautiful animals, and all living organisms are created in this way. First a clot, then it changes into lump, then bones appears, and on bones the flesh comes. So this is what the development of the body is. And then finally in Surah Al-Nur, that is verse number 45, Allah has told us about the characteristics of living organisms. Allah says that few living organisms, they creep on their bellies. They creep, reengne wale janwar. Few moves on 2 legs, few moves on 4. In Quran also there are habitation plus the food, how living organisms, what food they eat, it is written. But in your topic, the main thing was in Surah Al-Nur, verse 45, the main thing was discussed that every living being created by water, some creep on their bellies, some on 2 legs and some on 4 legs. And then finally, Quran says that Allah creates what He pleases. Allah creates what He pleases. जो वो चाहता है बना देता है. Now, next topic, it comes that Muslim scientist. When we say Muslim scientist, remember one thing. Muslims has done a very remarkable work, very remarkable work in the field of science. And there are many scientists that we discussed in your book, 3 as done, but I am telling you about 5 scientists. So listen carefully. What we have to do is, when we are telling about some Muslim scientists, you must know that what they did, what are their specialization, plus the work or books they have done, they have written. So first, in your book, there is Jabir bin Hayyan, born in 721 and died in 815. He was an Iranian scientist, belongs from Iran, and practiced medicine. He practiced medicine. Then, today in chemistry we do experiments. Why we do experiments? We investigate the thing. We always perform experiments to investigate something. So that in experimental investigation in chemistry, he was the one who launched it. Today in chemistry, what practicals we are doing, the experimental investigation, Jabir bin Hayyan was the person who started that thing. Then books, he wrote many books on plants as well as animals. Like he wrote Al-Nabatat. When we say Nabatat, Nabatat is basically related with botany, with plants. So he has done Al-Nabatat, wrote a book Al-Nabatat on plants, and Al-Hawan on animals. So he worked on biology, zoology as well as botany. Then comes Abdul Malik Asma. Asma'i, we can call it. Abdul Malik Asma, we call it regularly. Born in 740, died in 828. The period is very close. You can see. Studied animals in detail. Basically, he was a zoologist. So, he wrote many books. His famous books are still, many of the scientists, they read these books and they take different hints from him. Al-Abil, he wrote for camel. Al-Khail, about horses, particularly for camels and horses. Al-Abil and Al-Khail. Then Al-Wahush for animals. Al-Wahush is for animals. And Khalaqul Insan, about human beings. So he has done these, written these famous books. Abdul Malik Asma'i. And then comes Abu Ali Sina, the most famous scientist. Born in 980 and died in 1037. He was founder of medicine. Today, whatever we are doing in medicine, the first step was taken by him, that is Abu Ali Sina. He was founder of medicine. In West, when we say in West, Maghrib mein, Avicenna, they call him Avicenna. We call him Abu Ali Sina. He was a physician, a philosopher, a poet and astronomer. Sitaro ki Dunya. An astronomer also. His famous book was Al-Qanun fil Tibb, that is called Canon of Medicine. Therefore, he is called founder of medicine. Then comes Ibn al-Nafis. The main work of Ibn al-Nafis was he founded the blood circulation in lungs, the pulmonary. So he found that. He was an Arab Syrian. He was from Syria, and His specialty was medicine, surgery, philosopher. He was an excellent philosopher and anatomy. He worked in all these fields. Al-Shamil fil Tibb, that was his famous book. And the last one is Abu Rehan al-Biruni, very famous scientist. He was born in 973 and died in 1048. He was an Iranian. His field, his subjects was geology, physics, chemistry, mathematics. His noble work is Understanding Astrology. The book was very famous, and that was one of the noble work. Remember, dear students, that Muslim scientist has done a lot in the beginning in science field, in the field of science. Very, very famous, and still the Europeans, they believe and they trust their books. Whenever they get stuck somewhere, they get important points from the books written by Muslim scientists. So Muslims has done a big work in the field of science. So today we have done these two topics. I hope that you will read them carefully and then listen my lecture again, and by that you will memorize both the topics, and it will not be a problem for you in coming examination. Tomorrow inshallah again we will meet with the next topic, next three topics of chapter number 1. Then we will complete the exercise, and by this we will complete chapter number 1. So spread education and gain education. This is what this should be the motto of every student, every teacher. So with that I will end today, and but remember that for me you have to subscribe the channel. For yourself you have to press the bell icon, so that whenever I upload my video you will get the notification. So thank you very much. Go through this topic once again, and please note down about Ibn al-Nafis and Abu Rehan al-Biruni, because these two are not included in your book. So go through it, and thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.